Dr. Powell, could you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I came to the center about 16 and a half years ago in April of 1997. I was formerly a dean of the Graduate School of Public Policy and Administration at California State University in Long Beach, about 20 years. And he principally managed a master's degree in public administration, which focused on local government. We had about 600 graduate students on a continuing basis, and over the 20 years graduated 1,200 individuals. Did a lot of workshops with professional societies in the area, focusing on survival of local governments in California in a very unstable economy, and also ran a Bureau of Governmental Research with also about 1,200 training programs. About 11,000 people went through those programs. And served as concurrently as the executive director of the Western Governmental Research Association, a membership organization of government people and administrators principally, and academics in the 13 western states, and did that for about 16 or 17 years. We also did training programs and had a journal which I edited with articles about research studies that local governments and academics had done about government problems. Before that, I was with the Appalachian Regional Commission in Washington, D.C., which plans and supports, with about $300 million in grants, local governments and local development districts, multi-county local development districts in the 13 states that are within what is called Appalachia. There are about 100 local development districts, 406 counties. And my job was director of the Office of Research Management, which meant developing a strategy for economic development in those areas of Appalachia that needed to be to have an improvement in the quality of life, more jobs, better jobs, industry, transportation access in and out of Appalachia. And I oversaw that expenditure of $300 million for these programs, which were, for the most part, research and demonstration programs, as well as investments in highway systems, the construction of highways, the construction of industrial sites so that plants could be built, brought in with water and sewer and electricity, clinics for children, educational programs, housing, and some other programs exploring startups in industries that were already in existence in Appalachian communities, determining what clusters of industries there were that could be supported externally and could be enhanced with additional investments. Before that, I worked at the National Association of Counties as Director of Contract Research, and did about what would be in today's dollars about $7 million in contracts from federal agencies that accelerated information about new federal programs in areas like clean air and clean water, emergency medical services, solid waste management, economic development, criminal justice planning, comprehensive planning on an area-wide approach, highway safety. We did a very major program, and we prepared guidebooks for county elected officials, and then did training programs at the meetings of county officials, annual meetings of county officials, and distributed in each one of those research projects about 30,000 manuals or guidebooks on the subjects that were the principal area that we were researching. All the research was based on field studies. each one of those projects had about 30 field visits around the country. Let's see, before that, I served as an assistant city attorney for Greenbelt while I was working on a doctorate in government and politics at the University of Maryland. So I completed that degree and moved on to NACO, the National Association of Counties. Before that, I was in the Navy. I was posted at the Sinkland Fleet, and during that time I was able to obtain a master's degree from George Washington University that was being offered in Norfolk. So I was a beneficiary of the kind of education that we offer here at the center with many master's degrees.
Could you explain the nuances of the Southern Maryland Higher Education Center?
The nuances?
Yes.
In terms of what our mission is, and well, the purpose initially for the creation of the center was to bring graduate engineering programs to Southern Maryland. We're in the midst of a BRAC transferring about 6,000 people from Warminster in Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, and from Crystal City. The entire command structure for NAVAIR was moving down from Crystal City with all of its personnel for acquisitions and procurement, almost 3,000 people. And it was important that these folks would have the opportunity to continue their education. And so there was a lot of pressure for the state to create an institution and to construct a classroom building that was suitable for graduate education, principally in engineering. But of course that was expanded because there were 7,000 teachers and public school administrators down here who were traveling 200 miles round trip to continue their education, and they had to. That was part of their contract as teachers and administrators. And so we immediately had a large number of graduate programs in education. And since then, we've expanded to other fields like nursing and criminal justice, management, business administration, counseling, social work, information systems, human resources management. So now we have about almost 100 degree programs, most of them graduate, 5 doctorates and over 50 master's degree programs and about 15 bachelor's programs.
How did the Higher Education Center come about?
Well, the catalyst was the BRAC process. It required a little bit of pressure on the governor and in the legislature. We had a champion, and John Slade, who was the delegate representing St. Mary's County at the time, who sponsored legislation and was able to convince the governor and the legislative body to pass legislation which allowed the construction of the building, our first classroom building. It had about 14 classrooms, and also the creation of the center with a board of governors appointed by the governor. And so we had the creation of an institution called the Southern Maryland Higher Education Center, a board of governors to run it, and made up of citizens from the 3 counties, and a classroom building.
Where precisely is the Southern Maryland Higher Education Center located?
Well, it serves all 3 counties, but it had to be located close to the Naval Air Base at Patuxent River, because that was the principal reason for creating, the catalyst for the creation of the center. So it's designed to serve all 3 counties, citizens in all 3 counties, but it's about 6 miles north of the base in the professional park that was owned by the Walsh-Schmidt family, and they donated 25 acres to the county, St. Mary's County, for the site. That made it easier for the state legislature. There was land that was donated, and it was in a suitable place with power and sewage and water, and conveniently located close to 235, State Route 235, the main corridor coming through St. Mary's County and directly connected via 235 to the base and to the other two counties as well, major roads.
You said that it started out with one building. What does the campus look like now?
Well, there's a second building. Immediately it became obvious. When I arrived, the center was created in 1995, September of 95 was when it opened. I arrived about a year and a half later, and it became obvious to me that we were growing so rapidly that we would have to have a second building. And so we began lobbying for that. At the time, the county owned the land. They transferred it to the Board of Governors, so we would be eligible for higher education construction funding. The first building was provided via a grant from the state Department of Economic Development, Business and Economic Development. So now we're eligible for higher education construction funding. And so we put together a proposal and sold it to the legislature and to the governor at the time, Governor Glendenning. The first governor that provided the first building was Governor Schaefer, who preceded Governor Glendenning. And so we received the funding for A&E, for architecture and engineering, and then for the construction. So this is the second building is a 38,000 square foot building. The first building was 22,000 square feet. This one has 21 classrooms, a large meeting room, 50 by 75, that allows us to hold conferences and major banquets and luncheons and meetings for training. And about 10 faculty offices for our coordinators. So we almost tripled the capacity of the center for classes, for classrooms, and for additional students.
Looking at the scheduled classes for 2014, what number of universities are now offering programs at the Southern Maryland Higher Education Center?
Currently, 12 universities are offering classes at the center. We have arrangements with 2 others for programs that have been approved by those 2 additional programs, and we're hoping that those programs will also start in the near future, making the total 14 universities.
If you needed to pigeonhole the most popular programs based on the greatest need, would they be engineering, business, education?
Well, that's hard because both education and business and engineering are important. We have 40 engineering and technology programs here, doctorates, master's degrees, and bachelor's degrees, and they support the base and the defense contractor community. Those programs mean that we can attract more technology companies, more defense contractors. We get calls constantly from defense contractors wanting to be assured that we actually exist and have these degree programs that are available down here. So we're attracting more businesses with these programs. At the same time, these people are coming with families and they have children and they want the best schools. And we now have in St. Mary's and Calvert and Charles 3 of the best school systems in the state of Maryland and among the best school systems in the nation. We've had something like 21,000 class enrollments in graduate education since we opened up. An enormous number of teachers in the 3 systems have been coming to classes here, gaining additional skills and knowledge which they bring to their classrooms, and we have some of the smartest kids in the state with these outstanding teachers. The business community is developing rapidly in private sector areas, so those programs are important as well. The healthcare industry needs nurses, and we're providing graduate programs in nursing, important programs. And the same thing is true in social welfare and in counseling, resource management, personnel management, procurement and acquisitions. All these programs add to the comprehensive nature of an economy in Southern Maryland, and it's a growing economy.
Suppose a viewer is interested in taking a class from Notre Dame, Webster, Towson, John Hopkins, for example. Do they contact your office or do they contact the university? How does that work?
Yeah, they contact the university. Every student has a special background. They've taken courses, they have degrees, and only the program managers for the degree programs, the 100 degree programs we have, they all have managers, coordinators, advisors, counselors, and they're the experts for each individual program. So our job is to help them identify which program they need to focus on and contact directly for advice on how to enter the program, whether they have the appropriate background, the appropriate course background, the appropriate work background. All of our programs are professional programs. We don't have liberal arts and humanities here. We don't have a workforce that's interested in those at the present time. So the workforce is a working workforce, obviously, and the students here at the center are working in our part-time. We have only one full-time program, a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering offered by the University of Maryland College Park, with tuition that is paid by the Navy, which wants additional engineers and needs to recruit additional engineers on an annual basis. So we're growing our own engineers in Southern Maryland. They pay the tuition. It's a 2-year program at the upper division level. We only offer upper division courses because the community college offers the lower division courses for the freshman and sophomore year, and we grants AA degrees, and we grant bachelor's degrees, but offer courses only for the 3rd and 4th year. But all of our other programs are part-time.
The Southern Maryland Higher Education Center is one of several higher education centers in the state. How many are there?
There are 8 altogether. There are 2 in Shady Grove, Montgomery County, and Hagerstown that are managed by the University System of Maryland. There are 5 that are managed by community colleges throughout the state, different areas, Eastern Shore, Waldorf, near Annapolis, near Laurel, and near Aberdeen. And then there's the Southern Maryland Higher Education Center, which is the only independent regional higher education center that has its own board of governors that reports to the governor. And so those are the 8.
You mentioned that you have 10 universities. How did you get them to bring their programs down to the Southern Maryland Higher Education Center?
Well, actually we have 14, and we've been growing. We had much fewer programs in previous years, and university partners. It's a matter of diplomacy for the most part. We have to deal with the people who run programs, not with the president. In the university world, presidents don't command, they don't manage, they don't direct. Academics have jobs for life, they have tenure. They make decisions about where their programs are going to be offered, if they're going to be offered off campus. Obviously, the programs that are offered off campus have to be approved with a cover letter by the president. So when we get a proposal, when we elicit a proposal from the university, and they outline what the program is all about for a degree that's going to be offered here specifically, there has to be a cover letter from the president stating formally that he supports this program. But we can't go to presidents to ask. That'd be easy. It would be very easy if it worked that way. And it might work that way in the private sector, in business. It might work that way in the military. But it doesn't work that way in higher education. We have to convince the academics who are going to deliver the program, whether it's at the department level or at the school level, the department chair and his faculty, or her faculty, and the dean and her faculty and chairs within, and sometimes the vice president. We work our way up, but we work our way up through the people that are actually managing a degree program and convince them that they're going to benefit both financially, that their reputations will be enhanced, that people will understand more about their programs and perhaps send their children as undergraduates to those institutions. There are many vehicles for persuasion, but it's a matter of persuasion and selling, and I like to think of it as diplomacy.
Are there other programs that are open to the public that the center offers?
Well, all the programs are open to the public, all of them. They're not specifically for the Navy. Engineering programs are not limited to Navy. They're limited to people who qualify for an engineering program. They have to have the appropriate undergraduate work if it's a master's program, or the appropriate graduate work if it's a doctoral program, or the appropriate lower division work if it's a bachelor's program. But the public at large can come into every program as long as they qualify and are accepted by the academic programs that manage the specific degree programs. But it's a wide open, center is wide open to everyone who wants to come here to gain additional education, get a degree or a certificate, whichever they feel, or just take courses for additional information, skills, and knowledge.
How would they contact the Southern Maryland Higher Education Center?
Well, they can contact us through our website directly. They can email the center. They can call us. They can visit. We have an open door policy. Anyone can come in and ask about academic programs. We publish for every semester thousands of copies of the schedules of classes with information about the coordinators for each one of the degree programs, their telephone number, their names, their telephone number, their email address. About half the universities that we partner with have coordinators that are located here at the center. They have office hours. Most of them work 20 hours a week. Some work 40 hours a week and are here every day, 5 days a week. So they can come in and talk to coordinators, or they can call or email coordinators if they're not located here.
And the center holds open houses?
Yeah, we hold 3 open houses every year. We market widely in all of the newspapers, the 3 county newspapers, the military-based papers. On the radio stations announce the open house, and it indicates some of the degree programs that are here. They don't list all 98 degree programs. Again, those ads in the paper are usually page long and wide, full ads listing all the degree programs. And then there are information sessions that the universities offer. Specifically, when they introduce a new degree program, they usually have open houses just to talk about their degree program and market those widely as well.
And lastly, what is the telephone number and website?
Well, it's the telephone number is 301-737-2500 for the center. We have voicemail for every office, every coordinator. So even if they're not here, if you're calling in for Towson University, by example, they have 3 coordinators here, incidentally. If none of them are here, or if they're on the phone, then you can leave a message on their telephone voicemail, or you can email them and leave a message on their computers. And the website is www.smhec.org.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.